Hey, you're listening to the Top 8 podcast. I'm Matt Batiste, joined by...
TJ, your co-host as always, as well as our special guest, LOLO. Thank you so much for doing this.
What's up? Thank you for having me.
A very special episode today, which is really exciting. We had a chance to actually catch up with LOLO at All Your Friends Fest, and that's a part of our big total coverage. You can catch TJ's interview with her on our YouTube channel and on our All Your Friends Fest coverage episode. And now we get to have a little bit more of an in-depth conversation with LOLO about LOLO and less of a festival episode, which is really exciting.
Totally.
Yeah.
I mean, 2024 has pretty much been the year of LOLO, it feels like, dropping your debut album June 7th, featured on the Disney's A Whole New Sound compilation alongside
That was
Van
huge.
Glory, Simple Plan,
That's
so many
crazy.
more.
Yeah, it's been definitely a really fun year. Like lots of exciting things. I feel like I constantly have something exciting going on that I could like post about and stuff where I felt like didn't used to feel that way. So definitely feel that it's becoming sicker, like my life, that is.
Amazing.
But yeah, it's been good.
What was the moment where it felt like it just like clicked and things changed?
I don't know if there was like a moment, honestly, but I just feel like this year I've definitely just felt like a lot of growth. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if there's one particular moment. I mean, like, I guess my most recent, like, singing at, like, the ACC / what is it called now? Scotiabank. On the, like, Avril Lavigne Simple Plan tour, met Avril Lavigne.
Crazy.
I was just like, what is my life? Okay, things are happening.
That's awesome. Yeah, you've been playing a ton of shows. You played All Your Friends Fest, which we are happy to catch you at, which was super cool.
Yeah,
First
that's fun.
headlining tour coming up in Europe and the UK starting next month. And then when you come back, touring with Marianas Trench from the November 16th to December 12th, I think it is. Basically the
Yeah,
entire Canadian tour.
It's busy. It's going to be a busy autumn.
Definitely.
Yeah.
But what we're here to talk to you about today is the top 8 artists that influenced you and your musical style. How about we get into that?
Okay. Should I just start naming it off?
Yeah, we'll go with one artist at a time and kind of talk about what that artist is, you know, how they've impacted you.
Okay, cool. So number one, I would say, which wouldn't be surprised to any of my fans or anyone that like listens to my music, because I've talked about this in my songs, but number one would be Green Day.
I know I'm curious what album with Green Day really got you into them.
American Idiot.
Okay.
Yeah, me too.
That was like, I don't know why. I was like way too little to remember, but I know that that was like my first CD that like I bought. I guess maybe my mom let me pick. I always say that I was probably like, oh my God, a red heart. Like I want this one. Cause I'm like, I have no idea why the hell I picked that up. Like I didn't know what was going on as a child, obviously. But like my parents weren't into Green Day or anything like that. So I have no idea where it came from. But that happened. So that was my favorite album ever, or like my favorite CD, and now my favorite album ever. And I would just like practice all the time, just in case like if I saw Green Day, they would bring me up on stage. So I remember just
They
like,
do that at their shows, so that's something good to prepare for.
Yeah, now they do. But at the time, I wasn't even allowed to go to concerts because my mom was scared I was gonna become deaf from like all the loud music.
Oh.
Now I'm an artist, so joke's on her. But yeah, that was always my favorite, and I would just go through the whole album. And I think like what inspires me about that today, like that I use and stuff, are just like, you know, the chords that they use, I think are like sound really cool, and just the way that they like tell a story and stuff. So that would be my number one, and just like nostalgic as a kid, like loving them. Number two, I would say is Avril Lavigne, which is another nostalgia one. But she was basically like, I saw her and I was like, I want to be that. Like I would wear a wife beater and a tie and like cargo pants and the spiky bracelets, which honestly I kind of dress like that now, minus the tie. But I feel like Avril is like the perfect definition of like pop rock, which is like my favorite genre. You know, she's doing rock songs, but it doesn't sound too heavy or like too,
Yep.
you know, like it's still like cute like cutesy and like fun, I guess. Like,
Yep.
hey, I could be your girlfriend. Like, I love that. I just like love the attitude of Avril. Like, I think it's perfect, and I feel like the songs are just like they're so cool, and at the same time they're super catchy, and I think that's just like the best combo.
I feel like Let Go was a major entry point into the scene for a lot of people, so it's totally makes sense on that one.
Oh yeah, 100%. So yeah, so that would be number two. This is, and it's not necessarily in like a specific order, but I would say another musical influence is Taylor Swift was a big one. That's when I first started playing guitar around the time that she was coming up. So I remember I was like listening to a lot of Taylor Swift and like learning the songs. And that's also when I first kind of like started writing songs, I think. So a lot of my first few songs, first like 100 songs, sorry, probably sound. I remember like when I first started making music, people were like, "Oh, this is country music," and I was like, "No, it's not." But now when I listen back, it just sounds like old Taylor Swift. So it will never see the light of day, by the way. So don't even ask.
I was going to say, can we get this or what?
No. God, oh my God, my mom to this day is always like, I miss your old songs. They were so nice.
Oh, no.
she doesn't like rock. And I'm like, Mom, they were terrible songs. But yeah, Taylor Swift, I do think is like one of the best storytellers of our time. Love her, hate her, she can write an amazing song. So
she's arguably the biggest artist on the planet right now. So you can't deny her influence and impact for sure.
You really can't deny it.
Have your parents like come to see you play and perform, and do they like your music?
Yeah. Do they like my music? That's a good question. My mom hates concerts. She's only been to two artist concerts in her life. One of them was Elton John, and the other one was LOLO.
Oh wow!
Yeah, but she's been to she likes my concerts, but she's always like, "It's so loud. You have to play."
We got to get her some good quality earplugs.
I know, for real. And then my dad's seen me a couple times too. They come to the Toronto shows. They came once. Like I did Sad Summerfest actually. A couple summers ago, and there was a Buffalo show, and like I was not first of like 7 acts or whatever. This is like when I was first starting out, and every day was so packed, even when I was on stage. The one show that they come to, obviously, it was like empty during my set, I was just like, and my mom was like, "It's only empty because we came." She's like, "So we can't come anymore. We're your friends." Like she's really superstitious like that, honestly. Like it wasn't even a bullshit reason. Like she was actually like, I think that we ruined this by coming.
Oh my God. That's terrible feeling as a parent, I can imagine.
Yeah, for real. But okay, so Taylor Swift. Another one is Julia Michaels. I think she's like another one of the best writers ever. I love how like her lyrics are so conversational and like it just she just like says it how it is and it's like specific details and stuff like that. And I feel like that's the kind of style that I really try to incorporate in my music with the conversational kind of lyrics and stuff. So I think that's
I can see
awesome.
That for sure.
Yeah. Another one, which is kind of random whenever I say this, but Gavin DeGraw, I was like obsessed with him also as a kid. And I feel like a lot of my early songs, like when I was writing songs, were like shaped by his style of writing as well. I just think it's, he has really good songs, really catchy songs. Like it's not like I'm not listening to him every day anymore, but I can't write off how he was a huge influence on me. Another one,
sure.
John Mayer, same kind of thing with like his songs and like Battle Studies was one of my favorites, and then I guess Continuum was also another one. But like, I don't know, I really love his like more like stripped back, laid back kind of songs. I feel like that is kind of you probably don't. I mean, I don't really hear John Mayer in my music, but just like the way that he writes a song, I guess, and his conversation, his lyrics. And then the final one, this would be at number 8, I would say would be Weezer. And that is, and that's just like their cool chords, cool kind of like production. I feel like actually their most I don't know if it's their most recent album, but a recent album that came out like in COVID, I think. They had a song on there called I Want a Dog. And the song went from 6/8 to 4/4 back to 6/8. Like the time signature kept changing. And I was
Yep.
like, this is so cool. I want to write a song that goes from 6/8 to 4/4. And I've been wanting to do that for so long. And then I wrote Hot Girls in Hell, which does that. It's the first verse starts off like 6/8 and then it goes like into 4/4. And so that is because of Weezer. So thank you, Weezer, for inspiring me to write Hot Girls in Hell.
What Weezer album are you drawn to the most?
Probably the Blue album.
The Blue album for sure.
Yeah.
I feel like that's
the best one. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if we can completely write off Pinkerton here, but
yeah, you're a Pinkerton stan, aren't you?
Yeah, I am.
Which is the that's on the green one though, actually, right?
Honestly,
like, I don't know if it's actually called the Green Album, but is it
like early Weezer?
I don't understand yet.
Yeah, early Weezer is just like, I don't know. There's something about early Weezer. They can't be touched.
Just Weezer. Yeah, that's a good one. I actually just saw them recently in Nashville at a concert, like a week ago.
Oh wow!
A few days ago, when I was in Nashville, I went to see the Weezer concert.
They're one of the few bands that I have actually never seen live, so I should definitely try to catch them.
Yeah, they're really good. I've seen them like a whole bunch of times. They're just one of those bands that I don't know what it is. They put on a great show, but they just kind of have that, whatever. We're just going to go out there and play the music vibe to them, but it's also just so fun at the same time.
Mm-hmm. I was supposed to see them on that. Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. No, I was going to say, you said it's fun. I was like, they had this whole like space theme. And they're like traveling through space, and they're like the whole time they're like, we've just gotten to this planet. And I was like, oh, they're such nerds. They're so cute.
They're like the definition of loser core.
Yeah.
I was supposed to see them on the Hella Mega tour with them, Fall Out Boy, and Green Day. And then that got canceled. I know.
I was supposed to be there too.
Terrible.
Yeah.
Well, we went through your top 8 musical influences relatively quickly. What would you say would be like your dream collaboration if you could pick one or a few?
Like to write with, I would say Julia Michaels. I feel like that would like be the best song. And then to perform with would be like, or like to do a song with or something would be Green Day, honestly. But
for sure,
I think, but also at the same time, this has always been my dream. I'm assuming it will never happen, but you never know. But to sing a hook on an Eminem song, like for me to be the like, just gonna stand there, like that's my voice. And then
I could see it, yeah.
He just dropped his last album, but I like, honestly, let's get him out of retirement so we can make this happen.
Yeah, I'm a big Eminem fan. My dog's name is Slim, which is named after him, Slim Shady. Yeah, and I have Slim tattooed on me also.
I went through an unhealthy obsession with Eminem when I was in high school. Like, it was kind of concerning where that was basically all I listened to. So I respect a good Eminem stan.
Yeah, I'm a stan for sure.
Well, Matt, what do you think?
I think that was a solid list. I'd like to know, with you doing a bunch of tours, and I mean, you just played a show with Simple Plan and Avril Lavigne, and now you're going on tour with Mariana's Trench, and these are all, big artists that have influenced you and had that impact. Who is your dream to tour with right now?
That's hard. Let me think about that. Probably my dream to tour with would be Avril Lavigne. I feel like that would be so cool, and like I feel like her fans would actually like me. Where I feel like if I toured with Green Day, I would get booed off the stage. Not like
no, I don't think so.
Booed off, but like they'd be like, "Who's this pop punk princess?" Like they'd be like, But
I mean, they brought out the Linda Lindas to open their most recent tour, so.
But the Linda Lindas aren't like girly like I am. You know what I mean? Like, but yeah, I know what you're saying. Yeah. But so I would probably say Avril Lavigne would be like my dream tour that I think could actually happen. But then, what else? I would also love to tour with like Olivia Rodrigo. That seems like that would be so fun.
Oh yeah, that'd be pretty fitting. Actually, I could see that.
So good.
What's your, I guess, dream outcome with your, like, what's next for Lolo, basically?
Yeah, we ran through the list of everything going on now, but what can you tell us about what's coming up?
what could I tell you about what's coming up? Well, I just was in Nashville writing for New Era LOLO.
Hey, that's what we like to hear.
Yeah, so we're trying to figure that out now, honestly. I'm planning a headline tour for the US. So I'm like, kind of checking off all my boxes of like headline tour Europe, headline tour US, Canada. I mean, but I'm touring Canada actually for the first time this year. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I don't know. I guess it's so crazy because sometimes I get like kind of depressed when I think about this, of the fact that it's like you work so hard on one thing and then it's like, okay, that's out. What's the next thing? And it's like there's just constantly the next thing that you have to worry about. Like even so, I try to like not even think about that too hard because I'm like I have to just focus on this thing. But you have to think about the next thing. Like obviously. But yeah, I don't know what the next thing is. I guess I'm figuring that out still, but definitely more music, definitely more touring. Hopefully touring with Avril Lavigne, honestly, Green Day.
100%.
I'll manifest that. I just realized that when I was reading my list of 8 bands, I missed Boy Genius. So I only gave you 7. Boy Genius is like a relatively new compared to all the other ones. Band that is also a big influence. I just like, if you haven't listened to their album, their record, go listen. It's like, oh my God, it's so cool. It's like, there's some singer-songwriter kind of things. There's some like indie rock girl kind of thing. They're just so cool. Their stuff really, really influenced me. Like I saw them at Coachella. I saw their set 2 years ago. Not this past Coachella, but the one before. And that was like right when I was in the midst of writing my album. And it really influenced a lot. Like I was watching their set and it was giving me like all of this like inspiration for a bunch of my songs that were on my album. So
awesome.
I had to mention that. Yeah.
Yeah, when you originally said your list, I was like, I think that's 7, but she knows her list if she's given 8.
You were like, no, it was 7, so you're right.
Well, thank you so much for joining us and taking the time. We won't keep you too long. So
yeah, we appreciate you taking the time to come on the show. Appreciate that so much. Thank you. And loved your list.
Having me on the show. Thank you.
Love the top 8 list. Just a reminder as well, if you enjoyed the episode, please remember to give it a like, subscribe, follow, depending on where you're watching or listening to this episode, and go and check out Lolo if you're just finding her here on this podcast today. You can find her Spotify, Apple Music, and we'll also have her social media pages linked up in the description of this as well. So go and check her out. She's great. And thank you so much for listening to another episode of the Top 8 podcast.
We'll see you all next week. Thanks a lot.
See you guys then.